Hello everyone, this video is about a species that many of us have kept if we kept Loricaridae, and it might be a misunderstood one, it might be quite well understood. It's a very hardy one, and it's one job because I only have one in there. And I will do the disclaimer that none of the specimens were killed for the purpose of the video or to make wet specimens. They all died by natural means, and all were aquarium specimens. So I didn't go into the wild to go and collect them because then they would have probably been killed for the purpose of making it wet specimens, which has its own ethical questions anyway. So this is the flash pleco, or Panaqolus albivermis, and this was described in 2013 by Nathan Lujan, Steele and Velasquez. Oh, sorry about pronunciation, I'm terrible at names. In 2013 in Zootaxa, which Zootaxa is a journal for describing species. And as we look at the specimen, this is a mature male. Look a bit grim to most. So this is, just because he's dripping in alcohol, I don't really want to get it all over my hands. So this is a mature male of Panaqolus albivermis, and I'll talk about how to sex them a little bit. But yeah, this is a mature male, and he has very characteristic markings that you can't really see on wet specimens because, as I've said before in any wet specimen videos, is that the alcohol does sort of, or you lose all those beautiful markings that you can use to identify. My gloves are really ruining the shot. There we go. So he's very hairy. They get blurry with age, I say, because those odontodes, the external teeth, are really blurring that appearance. So before I start repeating information I'm going to say later on, so Panaqolus originates from the word panak. Panak being another genera of loricarids, plecos. These are the big ones, big-headed, very sort of bulky fish, and they can grow. Well, generally, I think it's anywhere from 20 centimetre standard length all the way to 60 centimetre standard length in Panaqolus. So these are meant to be the miniatures, so not Panak, they're Panaqolus, the mini Panaks, and they were once classified under Panak, but they're not actually closely related genera, not sister. They're not even that closely related to Panaks, they're entirely different. So this is a story of convergent evolution. So I should probably move back, it might be easier, but then I'll be walking to camera a lot. So please forgive me if it's a bit annoying. I'm going to try and get a bigger table or something. So their locality is the Rio Alligadero in the Rio Ucayali in Peru. I haven't really done much with Panaqolus in a while. I'm trying to avoid them just due to waste levels. So it's like, don't look when I go into stores. They're beautiful, but don't look because I need more filtration and to clean my filters more because they produce a lot of it. So they grow to, so this species grows 13 centimetres, 12 centimetres sort of standard length. So if I do, spiky fish. So standard length being, if I show you, let it focus, from the tip of the head to the base of the tail to the end of the caudal peduncle. Caudal peduncle being the bit between the anal fin and the tail. So that area there. So when we talk about fish measurements in general, we're using that measurement there, not that measurement there. So don't make that mistake because it's quite a big mistake. It's quite a lot of length in some species, especially the ones like this, which total length can add up quite a lot. So habitat, they are found within regions of higher velocity. Like many Loricaridae, they have that dorsio ventrally flattened appearance, and this allows for streamlined to work within a higher flow environment with least resistance, so wasting less energy on moving. And the suction pad mouth that we see in almost all Loricarids It's gonna give people like, oh, it's the amount of exercise I do for this. The suction pads will let them cling on to their environment. So they are very well adapted. They will experience temperatures of anywhere between 24 to 30 degrees. So this is really varied. That's quite a lot, and it makes them rather more easy to keep with other fishes. You could even say maybe with higher flow corridors, whereas many corridors in the trade aren't really adapted to many corridors in the trade aren't found at higher temperatures unless you're really good at searching. So it gives it a little bit more adaptability. And also they aren't just found in soft water. They're actually found up into harder water regions, which makes them a lot more adaptable. But don't keep them with African cichlids. These guys grow tail extensions and they're going to get nipped. If you have anything that nips long fins, they're going to take the fins off these guys, because while alcohol doesn't preserve them well, at the end of the tail it will naturally have long extensions, and these can break in alcohol preserved specimens anyway. So they are really adaptable. Soft water is preferred, and if you want to breed them you will need softer water. I'm going to move back closer to the camera because otherwise I'm standing up too much, and I'm only going to use the microscope just to show really just to show that dental work which they're really adapted for. So they are probably one of the species a lot of people keep as a beginner. So I'm touching the camera to get it to focus. I'm still not used to this camera. And their wild habitat will have a lot of wood that they will take refuge in, and is really useful for their food source. Sorry, let's take a wild focus. There we go. So their diet is actually in their immediate habitat, and it's kind of the thing with a lot of Loricaridae, a lot of Plex, that their habitat is part of their food in a way. So these guys live in wood, and the suction cup mouth kind of reflects that they're rasping on something. And if I put them under the microscope, oh, there we go, and you've got the suction cup mouth. And if we look at this, it's got loads of like papillae, and these will be taste buds. The whole body is covered in taste buds, so this is more probably localised taste, just really finding the food where they want it. And we can see the teeth. Oh, I'm damaging the mouth. It's very delicate. Anything preserved in the formalin is. If we look at this mouth, the teeth are spoon-shaped, and this spoon shape kind of dictates influences what they're actually eating. And it's a real misunderstanding of what they're actually eating. So they're often listed as wood eaters or xylovores. Xylovore meaning a wood eater, something that like a termite. A termite or a beaver is a good example. And this is kind of like, while they're gnawing at the wood, and they do produce loads of wood sort of shavings everywhere, this isn't actually what they're digesting, what they're eating. What they're actually eating is the bacteria, the fungi and microbes decaying the wood. This means that they're actually detritivores or omnivores, herbivorous. It's really difficult with fishes, the way that they're doing things is kind of different to other animals. So it's really difficult, I find, to use these terms. But they're eating stuff like that. So I kind of place them and Panax probably more similar to, it's really difficult to say, Pecketeer maybe, but these guys, I've not seen any with invertebrates like insects and stuff in their gut, which means that while they probably can digest it, they're not naturally eating the sort of grubs that would be. And I wonder, I've never really studied the sort of invertebrate ecology of fresh waters in the woods, so I don't really know whether there would be that much. And of course it's important to remember where there's wood, it's likely to be quite tannin rich. Not all fresh waters and not all Amazon streams are black water. Many are clear, and this is important to understand, but these guys probably do come from black water, given there's a lot of wood, a lot of tannins, probably a lot of leaves, and I guess settling down although if they come from high flow leaves and stuff, probably won't settle down too easily, but they will around the sort of wood and stuff, which will act as sort of another ecosystem itself. Fresh water is really complex and it's kind of a very big sort of thing. So like many hypostominae, they're territorial with congeners, which is sort of similar things. So if we look at this fish, it's covered in odontos, external teeth. Trying to reach without bothering to stand up because I'm lazy. I'll give up. Move a bit closer, but then you can see it's covered in external teeth, these spiky things. Now that's probably another defence against congeners and predators. These hypertrophoid odontos, the ones here, these are invertible, so these will probably, I've seen them do it, well, in aggression, territorial, they will stick out and they will also do it in defence. The pectorals are particularly sharp, but these often, a way of sexually dimorphising them when they're mature is their odontos will be a lot thicker at the caudal peduncle and also the pectoral fins here. And this is large in males. Maybe it's a defence between them when they're in their caves, preventing other males entering the cave. And you can see he's got a lot of broader head. Broader head generally means more males in a lot of hypostominae. And you could also look at the vent, but it's really hard to see. Although I don't like sexing hypostominae, but they could be real giveaways because that vent looks more female to me. If I put it under the microscope, vents are usually blunter in females, and that looks like a female vent. This, I don't like sexing. I usually use, when they've got odontos, really thick odontos, and the females have spots around the genital papilla, that's when I know they're reproductive. Obviously the shape of the genital papilla is really deceptive sometimes, and it has been preserved, so and this is really thick odontogrowth, and the body shape I say is slightly feminine, so you can see that they're not easy to sex. All Orchidae are covered in the external teeth, thick in males, less thick in females, more obvious basically. They're also covered in these dermal plates, and these likely have mostly defence. They're very difficult to break through. They're all crevice spawners like most, or if all hypostominae, and this is where the male will hide to protect his eggs. And it's often thought that these fish have long caudal tail extensions, and this is just so they can signal to females and to each other when they're in the cave, which is quite dark and you wouldn't know there's another in there. And these, the pectoral fins, so the pectoral and ventral fins will be used to fan the eggs, just to get oxygen and food and nutrients to the eggs as they mature. So a lot of the morphology is very much in their ecology. And you can see this patterning is very typical. This is a striped individual, but individuals as they mature can be spotted, or they can be quite young and not spotted. It's usually lined. Don't confuse them with Panaqolus albimaculatus. That's a very similar, but that is completely spotted, and the spots won't be really arranged in lines, which is a big indicator between the two. Just gonna pop them back in alcohol. They really shouldn't be outside the alcohol for long because it's really not good for them. So I have, at the moment, I will be doing a few more videos on different ones. I do have a Scleropages Jardini, the Pearl Owl one, that's in the freezer, so that will be at least a week before, from when the jars and the syringe arrives, because I don't really want to cut it open. I would rather inject the formalin into it. So that will be at least probably 2 weeks before I could do a film about that species. I also have a few others I can film about. Depends what people are interested in seeing and what I have available. I have quite a few lorcaeids, but I don't know if people want loads of lorcaeids, because half of it's just looking at dental and sort of really precise things, really precise differences. When it comes to morphology, which they're diverse, but yeah, if you get what I mean. And I do want to do videos and other things. I do have Phalawella, which is an interesting one, and I would like to do like a video on Pseudohemiodon and stuff like that, but when I have the chance to and the specimens given to me. So anyway, thank you for watching.